All righty. Good evening. This is part two. I believe we are live on the Lilas DFW. We are back. And this will show a little bit later tonight on social media. But just wanted to say thank you for bearing with us and coming back for part two. We are going to go quickly into the panels. And the first question up is what or who inspired you to develop your business? Again, the question is what or who inspired you to develop your business? And so for that, I'm going to go right over to Toya. And I know we have two Toyas, so I'm gonna do Lady A, and then I'm gonna also go to the other Toya. So what or who inspired you, Toya, to do your business?
Um, so what inspired me? Can y'all hear me well? I
Uh
switched. Okay. I was like, I switched from the iPad to the phone.
huh.
What inspired me with A Ladies Apparel, as I kind of was talking about in my introduction as well, was just not being able to find the type of garments that I like or the type of garments that suit my body type for the places or even the industry that I work in corporate America. So just not being able to find things that were proportioned to my body is what inspired me. So since I could never find stuff that I liked or that I wanted to wear or that would fit me in proportion, I just kind of started. I mean, I knew how to sew the basics, sew on a button, make a pillow, but I just kind of started. I got a sewing machine from my auntie, so I could also say she inspired me as well. I asked her one day, I was like, I've always been her favorite, as they say. So my aunt Jean, I called her on a whim one day. And I was like, "Hey, Aunt Jean, you have an extra sewing machine that you're not using?" And literally the next week, she lives in like a couple of towns over. So that next week, she sent it back to town with her son to me, and I started playing around on that sewing machine, and it just kind of went from there. And then, I had Mackenzie, which is now 11, Lord. But so that's about how long I've been actively sewing. When I had Mackenzie, then it started being, mommy and me. Um, she likes the things that mommy has on. So it's like, okay, mommy, I want to have that on too. So I started making outfits for me and her to match. And that's just what really inspired it. So my auntie, myself, and my baby girl.
That's awesome. But it's funny when I was doing like research on, how businesses are developed, a lot of people had your same mindset. There was something that they needed in the public that wasn't out there. And we all know as Black women, when we're going into these stores that are making clothes that are
Right.
itty bitty and don't have like a bottom space or hips, that kind of takes us out of the loop. So it makes so much sense and it's super smart. All righty, thank you so much, Toya. We're gonna ask the other Toya. Toya, what inspired you to get started, or what or who inspired you?
Um, Basically just me pampering other women before I actually started, my own business. Just seeing, the smiles on their faces. Some of them, tears rolling down their face. And just the simple fact of me loving adding a taste of enhancement to the beauty that's already there in everyone, because we all have, we're all born with this inner beauty. So it's like, anything that I can do to add to that, that makes the next woman feel good about herself, just being in this business of lashing. I've had numerous of ladies that come in, and like I just feel that all this is connected by God, because a lot of times women come in and I can be lashing them, and you know from the lashes, but they're crying emotionally because they are dealing with things emotionally. They are hurting, and just either the music that I may be playing at the time that they come in, and then I have a waterfall, so the waterfall, puts you in that little zone too. But like I say, sometimes the music that's played, or just something I may say to them, not knowing that that's something they needed to hear,
Yeah.
and from that, they really open up and just tell me how they needed that moment. Some of them come to me to get lashes, and they look at that as, their relaxation time. So getting lashes is also a time for a lot of my clients to come in and relax, open up. They may need someone to talk to, and just someone to listen. And it seems like I'm always that person. And I'm always inspiring them without really knowing, until
Right.
either they're crying while I'm lashing them and realizing, she's not crying because of, the adhesive from the lashes. She's crying because I'm making her feel, that, hey, I'm somebody who care enough to listen. And,
Right.
you know, luckily, I'm always having the right things to say to them. So I know that it's
Right.
all like divine connections through God as well. And I do
Mhm.
have connections with a lot of my clients. A client that comes to get lashes, and after the second or third appointment, they're telling me, I love you, I appreciate you, and,
Right.
the tips and stuff like that. So just being inspired, like everything inspires me. Anything positive really inspires me.
Mhm.
And the women in my family, the women close to me. So I'm inspired
Mhm.
by a lot. Like it just seems like everything that's real, and especially any and everything of God, inspires me.
Right. Awesome. I can see that though, because like I said, kind of knowing your history and how you started out, like doing hair and stuff. You really believe in women and you want to help make us better.
Yes.
And think about when you going and you talking to your hairstylist. I mean, that's almost like your therapist,
Yeah.
for a lot of women. So I'm sure when you're doing lashes or makeup or Millie's doing your pictures, it's easy to share because you feel
Yes.
like that's a safe space.
Right.
So yeah, that sounds about right. Well, thank you so much, Toya. We're
Yeah.
gonna go on to the next question, and we're gonna flip the question. This question that we're going to go to, it says, what challenges did you have to overcome at the beginning of your journey? So again, we're talking about your journey in entrepreneurship, but are there any challenges that you had to face at the beginning? And so with that, I think that's a good one because normally, when the devil is trying to apply pressure, he's going to do it fast because maybe he can prevent us from making this business that makes women feel better or just the general public feel better. So with that, I'm gonna go to Minister Tawana. Tawana, any challenges that you had to face at the very beginning?
Um, at the very beginning, I did have quite a bit of challenges. And to kind of back up to the question that you asked previously, then I'll
Previously.
hit this one,
Okay.
which was what inspired you to start your own business. And I would say probably the 4 or 5 people that kept tapping me on the shoulder, telling me that I needed to come to HR because of my criminal history. And I'm just being very candid and open.
Come on.
They
Yeah.
were the one that inspired me because I believed in providing for my children. I was a single mother and believed in providing for my children, and so I was always on to the next job, on to the next job. And because of my criminal history, they kept firing me, and so I said, okay, Lord, I gotta find
Mhm.
something that to do that I can do on my own, make this my own business.
Mhm.
And even when I got my real estate license, that was a challenge. I called every day. I had passed the test, and they were giving me the blues because of my criminal history and would not give me license. And I called every day. And I called so much till one of the young ladies called me on her cell phone and told me off real good. And I was so devastated. And
Oh
that
my
night,
God.
every night at 12 o'clock, I would get up and type in my name to see if I had a license number. And
Wow.
that same night, she called and told me off on her cell phone because my plan was to call her boss and tell it on her. But I looked at 12 o'clock that night, I typed in my name and it gave me my license number. And me and my kids got up
Come
and we
on
went
now.
at that time, and I just been praising the Lord. So um, when I did get into the real estate business, I started with a very known company, and I had a Caucasian guy told me, "Well, you are overweight and you're black." Because I was at probably like 330 pounds at the time, and he said, "You know,
Mhm.
you're overweight and you black. You know, you're out here in the Louisville area, but really you should stick with." Um, South Dallas. Those are the people that you need to target, so that they'll help you. And I was like, I was a little taken back, and I left. I went home, and then I was like, the devil is a lie. You know what?
Mhm.
I'm going to succeed because this is what the Lord gave me.
Come
I'm going
on.
to succeed. And everything, starting a business, it's not going to be hidey. It's not going to be perfect.
Right.
But if you trust in the Lord, and I know we're not on the spiritual platform, but I'm just
But
letting you know that if
it's
you
true.
trust in the Lord and you allow the Lord to reveal to you what it
Mhm.
is that you need to do, and you have to be a tither. It's nothing special
Oh,
that I'm doing.
that's
Nothing
good.
special. I tell my
Come
family,
on.
I tell my friends, it's nothing special that I'm doing. But I just know that if tithe and give your offering, that God will
Mhm.
supply and He will continue to make you have business.
Right. Awesome. All right, sis. I couldn't have said it any better, but that's amazing. God has just been like really dealing with me about how amazing he is, that when a situation is a bad situation, how he's so awesome, he can reverse it for our good. And
It's
that
good.
was a clear reversal for you. Do you
Yes,
see what I'm
yes,
saying?
it was.
Beauty can and it does exist in ashes. You just got to
Yes,
get an ashes a minute. You see what I'm saying? And you have
absolutely.
to let God lead you to bring that out. In your story, when you told me that the other day, it really blessed me
Yeah.
because not being able to work because of something you did in your youth, I mean,
30
those
years.
things they come back to haunt us,
Yes,
right?
they do. Yes, they
Um,
do.
but with that, God can still be more than enough. So no, let me
More.
tell you, that whole story just blessed me because it lets us know that even in the setup, God can show up.
You
You
better
know?
know He can. Yes. You better know He
Yes,
can.
yes. All righty. We're gonna go now. We're gonna ask OMG. Let's go to Letitia. All righty. Let me take Tawana off. All right, same question. Any challenges that you had to overcome from the beginning?
Um,
Were there challenges?
Actually, yes, sis. There were so many challenges. The first thing that I would say is that I kind of doubted myself. I didn't think that I could do it, honestly. Who would have thought a pickle business, you know?
Come
So
on.
there was doubt. I had doubt that I would not be successful. I had fear that people would not buy from me. You know, people wouldn't support me. I had that. So
Mhm.
yes, there I had all of that when I started, but I knew that through this, the Lord gave it to me. He gave me a
Mhm.
lady that sponsored me. He gave me a mentor. I know we're going to get off into that, but someone said something to me and said, "This is what you're supposed to be doing." And when I started, it started on a whim, and so yeah, I mean, it's you have to, like the sisters are saying, you have to basically surround yourself with positive people. You have to surround
Mhm.
yourself with those that have your best interest. Because
Mhm.
when you're starting up, I didn't know where the money was going to come from because I had
Right.
to invest in myself. So that
Mhm.
I had to have the support, from my husband. So my husband had to
Mhm.
support me because we're having to pull money from here to get this started. Because when I first started, I didn't know about grants. I didn't know about all of these things that you can get, as a business
Mhm.
owner. Now I do, but at that time I had no idea. So the biggest thing that I had was fear in failing myself because I didn't want to fail at it. But I just continually stayed in it, and the Lord has just shown Himself faithful. So, yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Awesome. No, thank you for sharing. in just the quest to put this together and kind of understanding, you know, the undertaking that I've had, because I'm more in the nonprofit stage.
Mhm.
But still now moving into the for-profit. But we do a lot of times our worst enemy is us. It's the
Yes.
enemy on the inside. And so with that, no, thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Because guess what? The devil is not doing y'all anything like new. He's doing what he's done for decades and decades and decades, but he's just switching up people. That's all it is that's different now, is the people part of it. Yep. So we really can learn how to overcome from each other. Thank you so much, Tisha. We're going to ask Keely that same question. Keely, what have you experienced? Were there any challenges from the beginning?
I had several challenges from the beginning. I moved out here at the end of 2019, from Florida. I moved from Florida to Dallas, Texas, right before the pandemic started. And starting a business was not on my mind. I came out with a career change. And I just woke up one day and said, oh, I'm going to start a beauty bar called Keyology by Tessa. And I told my mom. She was like, okay, you know, anything you say you're going to do, you do it. But I was in a new state, starting a new business where I didn't know anybody in the middle of a pandemic. And the challenge was everything was new, you know, call me new, trying to get the product out there, trying to get it in the hands of the right people while the economy was shut down. It was challenging. And I will say in that, I was my worst enemy.
Right. Yeah. We often are. I mean, yeah. and I don't think it's anything negative, but I think that obstacle kind of teaches us how to overcome the outside obstacles.
Definitely, because I would get up every morning or in the middle of the night with these ideas, and I wouldn't wait. I would actually get up and start on them. And by the time I finished it, it was like, all right, what am I supposed to do with this? Girl, nobody's going to buy this. Don't try this. You don't even have anybody to try it. You shut up in an apartment, you know, and I was my worst enemy. And I just have a phenomenal mom. She would call me every day and she's like, why do you sound like that? And I would tell her what was going on. And when I tell you that lady loves the Lord in all she does, she has always spoke positive words and poured into me. And that was kind of my mentor and my inspiration to keep going and to keep pushing. And I have, and it's brought me to today. And I've learned so much and still here, just never gave up. If I can say this too, just going back to the mentor, I grew up every day as, you know, a little girl, watching my mom put on her makeup. I'm sitting on the toilet as my stool, just watching her. Can't wait for her to go to work so I can play in her makeup. And when I tell you, this lady had everything: Estee Lauder, Clinique, Fashion Fair, like anything you could get. I don't know if you guys had a Miles Brothers or Jordan Marsh. Then they were brought out by Burdines, and they were brought out by Macy's. But we were going there every weekend, and they were always selling my mom makeup. So when I got to an age where she would allow me to wear makeup, I had a little bit of everything. So that my mom was my inspiration from me watching her wear makeup, and I just love makeup and the beauty of it and putting it on people. And here we are.
Fast forward. Exactly. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna go to our next question. Let me go ahead, and the next question is going to be what advice would you give to someone that is wanting to become an entrepreneur and trying to get into that space and create a business? What would be your best advice that you could share with them? I'm going to go to Toya. We're going to go to not Lady A, but Toya Holly.
Can you repeat the question again?
The question is just your best advice to somebody that is considering going into business for themselves. What words of wisdom would you give them to kind of carry with them on their journey?
I actually have something that I want to read that I had posted on my wall several times.
Okay.
And it says, be courageous, A strong woman faces challenges, stands up for herself, and refuses to stay silent in the face of abuse of power. I'm sure scary, but yes, it is very necessary. Sis, give your fears the deuces. Recognize your journey and stay the course. Step out on faith. Don't allow fear to have you sitting at home and 10 years later, you're still thinking about wishing and visualizing this thing that you want to do, this business that you want to start, but you allow fear to have you not doing it. You know, you never know how things are going to work out until you actually step out on faith and trust God and trust the process. With me, you know, even to this day, I'm still dealing with, you know, obstacles here and there. And, you know, a lot of times I am confused because I'm like, Lord, you know, what does this mean? What am I supposed to do? Do I give up? Do I keep going? Which I know the answer isn't yes to giving up, because he wouldn't have brought me this far if if his plans for me were to give up and not be successful. So basically, just, you know, step out on faith. If you already have a business and it's not going, you know, the way you're planning or you plan for it to go, you know, still don't give up. Just keep pushing. I am literally a witness to walking by faith.
Come on.
You know, so there's no other way that I can put it. And that's why I even tell my clients, like, nobody can tell me that God is not real. You know, when I think I don't have this, or a clientele is not the way that I expect it to be, you know, it's like God just shows up and show out. It's been multiple days to where I don't have anyone booked for the week, but it's like on certain days. As a matter of fact, one day last week, I'm up planning to leave, and 3 different times that I was gathering my stuff, turning lights and everything off, my phone was going off with somebody calling me, asking could they come in. And all I can do after each one of those 3 people was thank God. And I was like, okay, God, I see you. You know, and I see, you know, I'm not on my time, I'm on his time. And that's why, like, he was showing me in one day 3 times back to back. And those 3 clients that were coming in, all 3 of them were new people. And I was like telling them, I was like, this is just God. God sent y'all over here to me. So, you know, just have faith. Trust God, trust the process. Don't give up. And I mean, if you ever, whoever's watching, if you ever need any kind of advice, like, you can reach out to me at any time. And I would do anything that I have to motivate you, encourage you, give you tips on how to start a business and all that. Like, I'm here. You can reach out to me for whatever.
Oh, that is awesome. Let me tell you, one of the reasons that Lilas even came about, because most of my career in corporate America, I would see these beautiful Black women in these great positions. And I was an aspiring leader for most of that time. And like, the little girl in me was always like waving at them, saying, do you see that I need your help? I need some inspiration. I need some guidance. I need some mentorship, but just didn't really know how to go about it. And so fast forward, when I really got into adulthood and became confident in what God had given me and my gifts and talents, God told me, he said, that person that you were always seeking for, the reason that you never had that person is because I was developing you to be that for somebody else. And I just see that, you know, even in the interactions that I'm having with you guys, when you offer your abilities and you want to share with people, you just have to know that God is taking you somewhere that he's not taking everybody else. Do you see what I'm saying? That's God-given ability. And then it's wisdom enough to share what he's giving you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people aren't good at sharing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I saw in a lot of those leaders. They had that crab syndrome, just like Keely was saying, and they wanted to be the only one that was elevated. You see what I'm saying? That's not who I am. That's never who I am. And I tell my children, that's not who you're going to be. We get blessed by blessing others. and that's who we're going to be. And the person that's blessing somebody, they don't have to worry about where the blessing's coming from, because you're always putting seed in the ground. You see what I'm saying? So there's always a harvest. And so just to hear you say that, that just did my heart so good, because God is blessing us with gifts and talents so that they can be shared. You know, and the one thing about it, even I started thinking the older I got, as I started thinking about, as a mother, not being able, I don't know if I'm going to be here when my children get up in age and have their children and all that. I don't know that. But my prayer has always been, if I work and I sow now and I help everybody that I can, when I may not be able to help my children because I'm putting that seed in the ground, somebody's going to help. You know, and that is what, just when I tell you, it gives me courage, it gives me courage. Eden was on her way to school. I shared this week on our live. She was on her way to school, and she was going back to school. I think it was her first year, and her dad had bought her like this used vehicle that wasn't real durable, and her school was in Oklahoma. And she called me. Her car had stopped in Sherman. Now, her school is in Durant, Oklahoma, and she was at the red light and her car stopped. And so just imagine your kid calling you. They're almost an hour away from you, and she's saying, I'm stuck in the street and I don't know what to do, mama. Cars are going around me. People are honking. I could hear them. And my heart just like jumped out of my chest. And all I could say was, Lord, have mercy. Y'all, I promise you, it probably wasn't even 10 minutes later, some man, and we still to this day don't even know who this man was, got out of his car, pushed Eden's car into a parking lot, told Eden, stay in the car, stay on your phone. I know what's wrong with your car. Opened up her hood, did something to her car underneath the hood. And Eden, when I called her back, after I called her daddy, called her stepdaddy, because then I'm going in mommy mode. I'm trying to get everybody on their way to her. And I looked at App 360 and her car is moving. And I'm like, why is Eden's car moving? So I'm trying to call her, but she's trying to call me. And when I finally get her car is moving. I'm like, what are you doing? She was like, Mama, some man pushed my car into a parking lot. And then he said, stay in the car, stay on your phone. I know what's wrong. I'm going to fix it real quick. Fixes it. And then she's on her way and makes it to school. Let me tell you something. Nobody can show you like Jesus can show you that he can be everywhere at the same time. Y'all, I mean, the Bible said that could have even been an angel, because it says sometimes we entertain angels and we're unaware. But that blessed me so. And God let me know, if you take care of my daughters, I'll take care of your daughter. And that has been the thing that has pushed me ever since then. I don't care if it's one woman that gets help. That's one woman that can now inspire another woman. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not the numbers thing for me. It's the impact of what we're doing. So I'm telling you, y'all have me so full. I could get up and run around this whole computer and sit back down just to hear like-minded women wanting to impact the same way that I am. All righty, Tori, we're going to take you off and let me go to the next question. Y'all, it's so many questions over here, and my vision is just not all that good tonight. I want to do this one. This is a great question. I am going to, is Millie back? Okay, we're going to pull Millie up. Hey, Millie. Okay, so this question says, how do you counteract naysayers, which can be yourself, your family? It could be just, random people. The noise that you hear from the naysayers. How do you counteract that noise to continue to win? Like, what do you do with that when you're getting all this negative energy from, say, clients, or, maybe it's family members, maybe it's, work partners. When things are negative, how do you still keep going?
Breathe. First of
Come
all,
on now.
you gotta breathe, y'all. Like,
Mhm.
I know I know us bosses know, but those that are listening to become an entrepreneur or maybe an entrepreneur and maybe having that issue, you have to have self-control so that you can have time to analyze and think. Because I just had an issue with a new client that was kind of partnering with I was partnering with another boss, and she referred a client, and the I don't want to go too much in detail, but it took a turn. So the first thing that I thought about was, let me call my mentor and figure out how can I handle this situation, or what's the best way. Even though they're not in it, they can give you some guidance. And literally, it just I shook it off. It was like water on a duck's back. I let it go. But when a customer is irate and they're not understanding, because we have to understand, even as a teacher, I had to teach students that had learning disabilities, so I didn't handle everybody the same. So I understand that you handle people differently. So when naysayers are speaking against your business, for one, you do have to be spiritually sound too, and know your why and know your purpose, and manifest and meditate, so that it shouldn't affect you. We're grown now. So sometimes we have to get to the point where we're mature, and we can't.
Millie, are you there?
I'm here. I got a phone
Okay.
call. But
Okay.
you just have to grow up, mature, because everything that's said cannot be. But I've been a big girl my whole life. But that's not gonna make me feel any less beautiful if somebody call me fat. I mean, a kid will hurt my feelings real quick, a little baby. But I won't let an adult, I won't let it get to me. So self-control, like it's business, and yes, I'm about chasing the bag, but we have to be able to carry ourselves like women, and listen for one, and don't be so quick to respond, and then also filtering out what naysayers, because my grandmother loved me to death, but sometimes I feel like she's a naysayer. She may not say things that are positive, and those are the people that are closest to you. Those are your matriarchs. Those are your mentors, your first mentors, but sometimes they may not agree with everything. They may be putting you down. So you have to know, I know you love me, and these words you're saying to me are hurting me. However, I'm gonna walk off like a model. Like, you just don't let nothing stop. Like a lady said, make sure you look good, make sure you smell good, make sure you feel good. It doesn't matter what anybody else says, because God said it.
Come on. No, let me tell you, that was a mouthful in itself. I think you showed us several ways that we can combat that noise, right? Sometimes it's not listening to it, sometimes it's turning it off. And I love the fact that you said we're grown. When you're an adult, you have to handle things with a little more wisdom than you would have back in the day. So I really dug the part when you was talking about breathe, because sometimes we're emotional and we just go into it. So I appreciate that you were trying to slow us down so that we can rationally decipher the way that we need to. That was awesome. All right, I'm gonna go to I want to hear what Lady A says about this. Let's hear what Lady A says about the naysayers.
I honestly cannot really say, because I mean, I know that's not everybody's story, but I have not really encountered any naysayers in
Amazing.
my business wise. I've more so been, I guess, not even the naysayer myself, but like self doubt. So I have more people pushing me than I probably push myself.
Right.
Um, but I do still work my corporate America job. So one thing that I've learned in corporate America is, with naysayers or irate customers, is you never take it personally. When people are upset, they say things that they don't realize they're saying, or their intentions are to hurt your feelings at the moment. They may not mean it, but their intentions are to hurt your feelings. So I'm the type of person that I don't take it personal, especially if it's something that I know you're saying that is not true, or if it came down to, you have a problem with something that I've done business wise, or the way that I've done business. You may not agree with it, but that's the way that I do it. So I can't take it personal. We just have to agree to disagree. So
Right.
that's how I would deal with it.
I love it. Did y'all get all that cool, calm, and collectiveness?
And that's just
You,
me.
I'm telling you, do you hear it? You hear it so well, but I want to go back to not really experiencing that a whole bunch, and just point out something. I really think too it has to do with our village. I just think your village, just the pieces that I know about it, are so sound and so beautiful.
They are.
And I mean, I'm not in the family like she's in the family, but just from being at a place to where I can view and see how things are done. I mean, y'all, it's like a orchestra, a well-oiled engine over there. I'm serious. Like I really am. I'm so grateful for the Aldrich family, Lady A over there, amen, and then her husband Bishop. I mean, just amazing people. So I could see that, but I think at the same time, you just sound super mature. You know what I'm saying? You're super cool. You're super grounded, just like Millie is. So that stuff just rolls off differently, because y'all to me don't come across like y'all real emotional. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's just like, oh, the intent that she meant well. Like I could see you saying something like that, and I'm moving on. And that's really to be honored and elevated, because in times past, you may not have been like that. I think we all have had some moments with our mental capacities that we weren't
Right.
as level-headed as you are once you get older. So no, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. All righty, we're gonna go. We're dancing all around this question, and so I'm gonna have to go ahead and get to it, because this question I think is so timely. So the question has to deal with, do you all have mentors, and is it needed for building great business? We've heard Millie mention it. We've heard I think some others have even mentioned it as well. Oh, Keely said it as well. But we just want to hear what y'all have to say about that. I'm going to go to Letitia. Is it necessary to have a mentor?
I personally would say yes. And I have a mentor. Actually, I have two.
Okay.
I have a mentor, the one that pushed me and motivated me. She's a business owner herself.
Mhm.
And then I invested and got another mentor. So I'm saying yes, because with your business, you don't know everything. And like Millie the ladies just said, you may have those times where you need somebody else to talk to outside of that normal realm. And having that mentor, being able to go to them, being able to trust them, being able to just yell and scream, and I don't understand what to do. So yes, I'm gonna say during this, and especially during the times that we're living in, yes, you need a mentor, because sometimes that mentor will keep your mind where it needs to be and where you need to stay focused at. So yes, ma'am, I personally believe that you should have a mentor if you can get one, or be a mentee, because I mentor people too.
Exactly.
So right now she's
Mhm.
mentored me, so I'm able to use the experience that I have to help someone else. So yes, ma'am.
Oh my God. See, I absolutely appreciate that, because it does. Tisha brought out, it goes both ways, right? Once you gain some knowledge about something, then you should be able to share that. I'm going to go to Keely. Is it necessary, Keely, to have a mentor, or do you have one?
I don't have a mentor at this point. As I said earlier, I started my business in the middle of a pandemic. So I have just the childhood memories of my mom and what I saw, the saleswomen and the makeup artists, if that's what they call themselves back in the day, upselling her with the makeup. But I do see two women in this group that I'm thinking about asking to be my mentor. So I do believe after tonight,
There
I
you
will
go.
have a mentor.
There you go. I think that's
One
so
or two.
great.
But I do think, honestly speaking, it would have helped my business grow a lot faster. I would have had a lot more insight and wouldn't have had as many tumbles and falls in this. But it was a learning
Exactly.
curve. And what I can do is tell others
what not
what
to
not
do.
to do.
No,
to move
exactly.
forward. So
I
Yeah.
totally get you. No, we're gonna go ahead and bring you off. I'm gonna ask Minister Tawana. You've been in this space a long time, having moved from investor to broker to investor, from realtor through all of those things, and then creating a whole nother business. Do you think it's necessary to have mentors, and do you have one?
Yes, I do believe that it is necessary. When I got into the business, there we really didn't have anything what we call mentors. But you know, I told you about the guy said, you're fat pretty much, and you need to sell over here. Well, I went back to work the next day, and I saw another lady who was black, heavy set, and she was one of the top producers. And
Come on
she
now.
she spoke into my life, and I got under her, and she taught me well. She taught me well in this business, so much to now I mentor new agents coming into the business. And yes, so I I I can't even talk about real estate without giving her credit, because she did help me. She gave me the confidence that I need. She taught me how to act in those type of settings. So absolutely, I believe that a mentor is necessary. And then a lot of people look at the fee, but once they hire me as their mentor, it's totally worth it. It's
You know
totally
it
worth
is.
it, isn't it? Because you're sharing the knowledge, and then no amount of money is going to help you. Should take precedent over what you're trying to do on your own. So, in
Right.
the knowledge and the time that is poured into a mentee, it's phenomenal.
It
And
is.
it's tiring. So I can't mentor but maybe two people at one time, because it'll get too much for me.
Right. No, it is. Let me tell you, it is taxing. Just being available to share and having to listen to stories, and then give some field assignments. I mean, because I've
Mhm.
done it, a lot of parts of my career too. And like you said, it's a full-time job in itself,
Absolutely.
coaching individuals.
Absolutely.
It really is, but it's necessary. And I think as Black people, we don't do enough of investing in our own selves. And
Yes.
having a mentor is an investment. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Mhm.
There are so many individuals, like right now, today, that would just call like Keely. It's so funny she came to mind, because I was woken up this morning to Keely calling with some creative stuff going on and just needing to get it out there and kind of organize it. And that's typical for my days, right? Tawana, even I have girlfriends that have gone into the business, and they're like asking me all this question, because I've been in the mortgage space 20 plus years. But when it comes to like that real estate stuff, I don't know that stuff. So I'm like, girl, you gonna have to call Tawana. Tawana, can I give your number? And I have.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
given her number. And
Absolutely.
I have a tendency to be a connector, because I know somebody and I don't mind connecting you with who I know to get what you need. I think that's what we have to be for each other.
That's
So
it.
in all, it just sounds like everybody's saying it's necessary. And just like Keely was saying, that if you don't have a mentor, somebody that's lived this already, then you're gonna be up and down, up and down. And I
Right.
think having a
Right.
mentor can cut that time down.
Absolutely.
And can lead you through this a lot faster. We're gonna do one more question, and then I'm gonna get out of y'all's hair for tonight. And so I am going to let me take Tawana off. I'm going to go back to Millie, and I'm going to ask you, Millie, what are your thoughts on necessary characteristics for somebody that wants to create businesses? What are some characteristics that you just think they're going to have in order to do that?
Okay, y'all. Y'all wonder why my camera been off. Okay, let me tell you. Well, I've been home for about 20 minutes now, but I have so much to do. I literally write in order to be a successful person, you have to write everything down. I have papers everywhere. Like I have notes from coaching, I have notes from a challenge I'm doing, I have notes for tonight, I have a notes from live from last week. You have to write things down. You have to be organized. A lot of people say, "Oh, Camille, you're so organized." I'm like, "Girl, no, I'm not." But I'm more organized than I guess the average because I know how to balance things in my head. I literally had to run to Hobby Lobby when we took that break. I said, "Thank you, Lord," because my plan was to leave at 7:45 to go to Hobby Lobby to pick up these hoodies that I have to make tonight and deliver tonight, so I can get back to the house. I got home by 8:09. No, 8:09, I was on my way. And I'm telling y'all this because you got to keep moving. You can't, I don't like to tell a customer no unless I just absolutely can't do it. But you got to be able to move quick. You got to be able to make on the hour, on the hour. This is what I'm doing from 11:30 to 12:30, from 1 o'clock to I mean, from lunch, follow-ups, everything has to be written down. And then when someone says, "Oh, I can't go live with you at 2:30," they don't know the damage that they did to me because I've prepared for this. And even if you have those moments, you got to be able to say, "I can't dwell there. I can't be upset that my schedule was tainted. I got to move on to the next thing." I'm very solution based. If we're in the wilderness and we're trying to survive, you want to be on my team. I know I'm a thick girl. I might slow us down with the thickness, but I promise you, I got a survival mindset, and I'm so positive. You have to have a positive mindset, and you have to be a planner. What else? And then you also got to be able to invest in it by yourself. You can't expect your customers to do it. You can't expect the government to do it. You got to do it by yourself. And I know y'all know the difference between regular classroom and then it's on the tip of my tongue. Montessori teaching where the students learn. You got to be able to learn on your own. A lot of people, when you're trying to do something, they say go to YouTube. Yeah, go to YouTube, take a class. Mentorship is very much so needed. You have to be coachable. It's one thing for a coach to have somebody and they think they know everything, they don't listen, and it's like, I'm gonna let you just keep talking because you're gonna waste your time and your money. But you pick your battles. You have to be able to pick your battles, but most importantly, plan and write things down. Write the vision and make it plain.
I love that. All righty. We're gonna go quickly to Toya. Toya, what do you think are some necessary characteristics for an entrepreneur?
So a lot of what I believe it was Millie that was just talking. So a lot of what she said, and I was just sitting here thinking of more as she was talking. But creativity, patience. You have to have patience. Like you can't expect something to happen overnight or next week, next month. So you have to have patience, and you know outside of patience and everything that Millie did name, I would say most importantly is having faith. Like you have to have anything that you plan in life to do. You have to have faith. You have to have faith in order to be successful. Faith keeps you. It prevents you from giving up. So, that's just one of my biggest things is having faith, and then networking. You have to be inspired yourself, because if you're not inspired about something that you claim you want to do, nobody around you is going to be inspired, and then basically surrounding yourself with positive people who believe in you, and they want to do what they can, to help you be successful. For example, I had received a call from my mom one day, and wasn't feeling the best about business within itself, and then how I was being treated, by some other people that was surrounded me, within the business. And like she was telling me, she was like, yes, you are going to stay strong and remain positive, remain humble, because what you're doing, like God has given you these gifts and these talents, and you don't let nobody take that away from you. Don't allow no one to make you feel, in so many words, don't allow anyone to make you feel less than, or that you can't make something happen. So at that point, of course, agreeing with her, but you know, it was like the things that she was saying to me just made me realize even more, you know, yeah, she is right. And so like I can't allow how I'm treated by the next person make me give up. And so one of the reasons why I do, you know, everything that I am into outside of, you know, the lash extensions and, you know, microblading and all that kind of stuff, everything I do, there's a purpose in behind it. And one of those purposes is to show other women who's been treated, you know, how I've been treated by other women, whether it was in the corporate, you know, field or, you know, just in general, that I am somebody who genuinely loves helping other people. I genuinely want to see the next woman become
Yeah.
successful. You know, I've been surrounded by women who are more successful than me in my business, you know, and their business is way more successful than mine. But it doesn't make me feel like, oh, I don't want to help, you know, help this person because she already have it going on. No, I'm still going to help because one day I want to be probably where you are or the next person are. And so I love being around positive, you know, women who genuinely loves to help other women. So just, you know, like I said, most importantly, have faith, you know, don't give up, you know, and just keep on going.
Exactly. Yep. No, you are definitely on it. So on tonight, we just want to thank you guys for being a part of this experience. Boss business women just getting together on the block and just sharing tips and tricks just to excel. Uh, Information that's essential in your journey into entrepreneurship. We talked about what it's going to look like in the beginning. You heard many of the ladies say that even to this day, there's obstacles. There are things happening daily that are not, you know, things that they wanted to happen. And so they're evaluating and collaborating and just working through those, not taking life too serious in most cases. And so tonight we just wanted to bring you some inspiration from minority women that believe in you as a woman. What you've heard tonight from various ages is that it's attainable. First of all, with God, all things are possible to them that believe. And then it's necessary to be enclosed with the proper village and mentors. And then it's necessary for you to also give back to others once your business is becoming successful. So with that, again, thank you for tonight. And please just drop your questions in the comment fields. I know that we won't be able to get to them tonight, but in the days to come, I'll shoot these to some of the ladies and get you guys the answers that you are seeking. And we'll also do the drawing. We'll do it once I get the collective numbers of all of the people that have joined. So again, thank you guys. And we look forward to connecting with you soon as sisters in business. God bless you. Have a good night.